Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics on Random. Egberto Willis, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. Welcome aboard, everybody. Michael Rudnin and Brige MCP. Welcome aboard to the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. I am going to start the show off, first of all, with let me see. I don't think I'm going to start the interview. Let me just get a little bit of talking in first because it kind of got me a bit upset watching the president in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and how he was being interviewed by the reporters, etc. And I'm going to tell you one of the big problems that we have. One of the big problems that we have is reporters are in, and I think I finally figured it out, right? Reporters are intimidated by Donald Trump. They are completely intimidated by Donald Trump. If you watch the way, let's say Obama was interrogated, Obama was questioned. If you watch the way that many other presidents, Clinton, even Bush too, was interviewed, they really pushed back. And when those presidents said anything that was off skewed or whatever, they will follow up. And there are times that the reporters will get together and team up in the way they asked questions. That is not happening. So the president, whenever he gives a press conference, which is generally you take the press conference in real time, what then occurs wasn't the headline yesterday's show? What is the headline? Did I not change the headline? Is that what you're saying? I will look into that and check that out. But we do have an absolutely new show today, and I'm going to look into no. The headline for the show is Texas candidate shows how it's done. I still say Biden landslide and Trump commander in thug. Is there a headline somewhere else? Help me out here if I misplaced it or put it somewhere incorrectly or whatever. Breach, please. Anyhow, so as I was mentioning before. As it turns out, what happens is you find out that, oh my God, they don't ask the questions the way that they should. They give them a break. We have to change that. But in the short term, what happens, my friends, is that's the reason why we have independent media. Actually, the headline yesterday was Joseph Williams, Jose Williams, I believe. Oh, okay. Was playing a commercial in the background. I hope that is gone. I hope you don't hear anything else in the background. Is that correct? Anybody else hear anything else in the background? Because I want to make sure that Trump and nobody's spoofing what we're doing. As long as we're coming over clean now. Okay, what I see is Jose Williams on Washington, true call. Okay, let's see. Where are you seeing that? Let's see if I can see that. I want to make sure. Okay, I'm not seeing that. I'm looking at YouTube, and I'm getting Texas candidate show how it's done. I'm looking at Facebook, and I see. Okay, and I'm also looking at Facebook, and I'm seeing that. What I probably need to look at is at the top of the Facebook thing that we're talking about, just to make sure I had not screwed up somewhere. Because, I mean, that's a distinct possibility. That's a distinct possibility. I think the last time we checked, we were all human. Go ahead and do a refresh on it, my friend Brice. Please do. Please do. Please do. Please do. And give me a screenshot or something, whatever. Okay, welcome aboard, Paul Fleming, Brige MCP, Dimitri OG, Michael Rudnin, Daniel Ledoux. Let's see who else is here. AVQ. Welcome aboard. Let's see. I see Daniel. A cognitive disconnect is thinking the press is soft on Trump. I don't think so. I think the press is not soft on Trump, Ledoux. I think what the press is scared of Trump. And if you take a look at the way the questioning is done, when you have a president that lies categorically as he does, and people don't hold him right there to force him to tell the truth, or not only tell the truth, but after he he repeats the lie, look at the audience and say, well, the president, that is absolutely not true. Welcome aboard, Keba Mitchell, Paul Fleming as well. I think that is important. But I think they're scared to do it because they're scared, numero uno, that there's a good likelihood that if they do that, they won't be allowed back into the press rooms. Welcome aboard, my survivor, Norman Reynolds. I think that is the reason why. And I don't think it's necessarily that bodily scary of harm, but I think it has other reasons. Anyhow, let's get into the program, and then we'll move on with other issues thereafter. So what is the program title today? And the program title today is, and Brige, I want you to really show me where that is, because I need to know all these, whatever snafus there are, I need to be able to find it. Welcome aboard, Lee Grant. But here's the program today. Here's the program today. Why did you repeat that again, Daniel Ledo? Cognitive disconnect is thinking the press is frightened of Trump. I guess the first one was is soft on Trump. Okay. Oh, there's no help. There's no. Anyhow. Okay. I let's see a screenshot. The screenshot is correct. Oh, I see that. I don't know what happened there. I am not sure why. That must be a bug in Facebook. Oh, yeah. Thank you for showing that, Rudnan. Thank you for giving the screenshot. That is a bug in Facebook, because if you take a look on the page itself, it is correct. What I'm going to have to do is figure out where that bug is, and I'll find that out probably while I'm playing the other interview. But anyhow, title of the show today is Texas Candidate Shows How It's Done. I still say Biden landslide. Trump Commander in Thug. Okay, I think that's what we're going to do first. I think what we're going to do first is the Commander in Thug. Then after the Commander in Thug, we'll do the interview. And then after the interview, we'll talk about landslide, because that one, I believe, can really go places. And I know a lot of folks want to hear, Egberto, why are you talking about landslide? We just want to win. To which I say, absolutely not. My friends, it's not just about winning this time around. It's about sending a message. It's about being righteous. It's about being real. It's about winning, and given that we have context for us to win the right way and to go out and do it correctly. Meaning, if we fiddle, we may get a marginal win. If we fiddle, we may get a marginal loss. We fiddled with Hillary Clinton. We forgot about going and talking to absolutely everybody. And what do you think happened? We lost the electoral we won the election by over 3 million votes and lost the electoral college by just 80,000, less than 70,000 votes. And those votes were much less than the votes we left on the table because of our own dereliction of duty. So when people go around being scared about losing an election because of what happened in 2016, 2016 was not a Trump win. It was a dereliction of duty of the Clinton campaign. And when you look at it from that perspective, you have no fear. Because Trump hadn't increased in the amount of people that like him, Trump hasn't increased in any parameter whatsoever. What has changed in this election is our side has a whole lot more connect, not only with the base of with the Democratic Party, but with the original Republican Party, who are currently on board with the Democratic Party, along with progressives who decided to hold their tongue for this election. So when I'm telling you, when you paint the picture of what's out there, you should not be even thinking about the possibility of Trump winning. If you're comparing apples and apples, even in a pandemic, I'm starting to see articles that say, oh, Trump may win the vote in the beginning, and given that maybe 2/3 of the votes are coming by mail, something is going to happen to scare people. Hi, Deborah Ann Borjan. Demetrio G, welcome aboard. Troy Astro, welcome aboard. Lee Grant, welcome aboard. So what I'm trying to tell you, people, is we need to start talking from the positive perspective with the expectation of winning and winning big because of all the stars and all the things that have lined up correctly this time around, even more so than 2016. And 2016 was pretty damn good. You win an election by 3 million votes in a country where George Bush lost by 1,000 votes, still won. So 500,000 votes and still won. Look, let's be real here. Anyhow, the Democratic candidate shows how it is done. This Democratic candidate shows how it's done, and it is showing in his polls. Democrats must not fear building a landslide in 2020. Here are the topics. First one, Travis Bolt, a young man in Pearland, Texas, Brazoria County, Texas, is running a race against an established Republican. He showed with his grit and competence how one should run to win a race. Are you concerned about Democrats winning? If you are, don't. There is work to be done, but the environment is ripe for a landslide. And if Democrats do not seize the moment, they never will, and they don't then deserve to win. And Dimitri, you're correct about ignoring the youth, and we have 63 days. No, not 63, probably 2 and 3 weeks, because election starts already. People will start voting already. To go ahead and win those votes and be respectful to those votes as well. We must be respectful to the right. We must be respectful to the youth. We must be respectful to the left. We must go ahead and earn their vote so we can take their vote. And last, Donald Trump displayed his commander in thug bona fides. What do I mean by Donald Trump displayed his commander in thug bona fides? Donald Trump was interviewed several times, both at the press conference yesterday and also on Fox News. On Fox News, he said things like, the cop that shot 7 bullets into that black young man just choked. To him, it was just a choking. So a guy got 7 bullets in it because the cop choked. And, everybody gets a chance to choke. He just kind of dismissed it that kind of a way. Who would kind of just dismiss a shooting, right? A thug in chief, a commander in thug. That's who would do it. But that was at the Fox News conference. You would think that he'll get away, he'll do stuff like that at Fox, right? That is okay. But but after he did that at Fox, he then gave I don't remember which one came first, but he gave the news conference at the White House, and then he was asked about the vigilante. He was asked about the vigilante who came into town from another state to kill. A vigilante who came from another state to kill, to hunt. That's why they came. They followed those Facebook messages. They came into Kenosha to kill. And that's what he did. He killed 2 people and maimed 1 person. In all this violence that Donald Trump has been talking about, no killings by the people who are the radicals that he wants to call radicals, but the people who kill are his people. His people come into a location and kill. He killed in Virginia. He killed in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So several times, Donald Trump's people have marched into a location, into a protest, and killed. And what did Mr. Thug in Chief have to say? What did Mr. Commander in Thug had to say? Check this out.
We're looking at all of it. That was an interesting situation. You saw the same tape as I saw. And he was trying to get away from them, I guess, it looks like. And he fell. And then they very violently attacked him. And it was something that we're looking at right now, and it's under investigation. But I guess he was in very big trouble. He would have been. He probably would have been killed. But it's under investigation.
Do you want to also take this chance to condemn what your supporters did?
Well, I understand they had large numbers of people that were supporters, but that was a peaceful protest. And paint is not. And paint is a defensive mechanism. Paint is not bullets.
I don't know if you guys remembered, but there was a time in Atlanta when a cop really roughed up a young woman. Okay, a young woman. She was painting on the ground as her form of protest, and the cops came, pulled her up, threw her on the ground, beat her up. These are the Trump's thugs that came into Portland, Oregon, and they beat up this young lady. I'm sorry I didn't have the video queued up for you. And what did this woman do? She took paint and she defamed a street. She wrote something on the street with the spray paint. And all the right-wingers said, well, she deserved that to happen. She deserved to be roughed up because she was destroying property. She was painting on property. Well, it seems to me like the president just gave her some authority to do that. Think about that. The president just gave her authority to do that because he said, hey, paint is not bad. She's just painting. But then again, but bullets are bad. So at the same time, the president is also defending this this woman. What is he doing? He's actually saying, wait a minute. At the same time, bullets were used by this president's people and killed two people. I mean, I want you guys to really realize what is happening here, and what we have to do is constantly bring these stories out. We have to constantly bring these stories out, because if we don't, what then occurs is you get that false narrative, right? You get that false narrative that somehow that isn't the case. I had another video here that I'm looking for as we speak that I really, really wanted to show you, right? Because as it turns out, there is one person, and I think I played it yesterday. I'm not sure if I played it yesterday, with a narrative. And I think she's the one that did it the best. I'm downloading it right now from YouTube since I can't find it in my stash here. So I'm going to download it from YouTube and play it from there. But what got me, right, is that what got me is they didn't, how should I say this? They didn't make a good use of the narrative, but now it is. I am pulling it down now, and guess what? I found it. Actually, it was right here. I want to play this for you, and you check this out. Karen Finney, Democratic operative. Let me tell you, we have to have more people like her putting the message out and not falling for the crap too many in the standard or mainstream media fall for. Listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
I have a different take on what we really know at the end of 2 weeks. What we know, if we look at what's happening in Kenosha, Wisconsin, is that a white 17-year-old with an AR-15 long gun approached police and was brushed off as he had just shot 2 people. And a black man in a tank top with a cop holding him by the scruff of the shirt was shot 7 times in the back while his 3 children watched. Those are the 2 visions of America. Donald Trump is trying to make this about who wants to stop violence. Black people want to stop violence. We have been living in violence since the beginning of this country. He's trying to make this about anarchy in the streets, but he's the president. He's trying to blame Joe Biden when he is the president. Why should Joe Biden be responsible for Trump's failures? And all of this is a distraction from the complete incompetence, frankly, of Donald Trump, as more than 180,000 Americans are dead from coronavirus. And we're learning very troubling things about the idea of the CDC suggesting that we test less, and so we will get less results, so we'll know less what's going on. That's really what Democrats have to do and what Biden has to do. Don't let Donald Trump take us off focus on what this election is really about, his incompetence, the danger that he himself creates. Him going to Kenosha, Wisconsin is like driving a Mack truck full of gas into a fire. That contrast of that imagery, the contrast of that imagery to anything that Joe Biden does is going to remind Americans that Joe Biden is a good, decent human being with a real plan to quell the violence in our streets, to do real policing reform, to move our country forward. And Donald Trump is just full of chaos and anger and bile. That's what we're seeing in the outcome of these 2 conventions moving forward.
She hit every single thing hit the nail on the head. We have to singularly focus on that issue as they try to reverse what we're looking at, because remember, that's what they have to do. They have to use smoke and mirrors. They can't show that he's been derelict with the economy. They can't show that he's been derelict with coronavirus. They can't show that he's been derelict with keeping order in the country or solving the grievances of many in the country. He can't do that because he has been a failure. So he's going to throw things and he's going to create anarchy and then say, okay, only I can fix the anarchy that is happening during my administration. Karen Finney, you did a great job. And everybody pushing the message has to not be scared and have to stay on point to let it be known and make sure it is cauterized into people's minds. Great job. Now, there's another one that I want you to see, and this one is Amy Klobuchar. This is the other one that I was looking at because Amy came out with a good defense by not allowing them to change the message. This is not a law and order election, and we cannot allow them to make it a law and order election, and at the same time, we must keep the protests going. It is incumbent upon all of us. Oh my God, we have to tone down the protest because Trump is going to say this. Who the hell cares what Trump is going to say? We lead. We lead. Trump has screwed up the country. We lead. We have the protests to have the structural changes and to make sure that everybody is on board with the structural changes. And we point out exactly the dereliction of duty by the presidente. And here is Amy Klobuchar. I found the Sunday morning shows for the last week of August rather sad, depressing. I think they have started already to allow Donald Trump to carry the narrative of law and order, the narrative of I'll restore order, when there's so much more happening in the country, when the coronavirus has killed over 182,000 people, when we have a sect of our population that is being harassed, that is being murdered by the police. There's so much more that this should be about, and to let Donald Trump's narrative of law and order take over, it's simply ridiculous. But I was happy to see Amy Klobuchar nicely turn the corner when presented with the opportunity. She went ahead and made the best out of it. Check it out.
This isn't just happening in one place. It's happening all over the country. It is happening under Donald Trump's watch. What is going on? We have innocent people like George Floyd shot by police. We have what happened in Kenosha. And then we have a president that literally stands on the people's lawn in violation of the Hatch Act with a bunch of pageantry and a bunch of fancy clothes with arias playing from the balcony and says, oh, do you want to be more safe? We are not safe in Donald Trump's America. It's not only have we seen an increase in hate crimes, not only have we seen increases in crime, but we have seen 3,600 people die during the Republican convention, Jonathan. Now over 180,000 people that died from this coronavirus. Seniors like my dad, visiting them behind glass windows as he stands alone with coronavirus in a room. I'll never forget that moment. And he survived that, but so many other people's parents and grandparents did not. So no, we are not more safe. And I think Joe Biden has a very strong case to make about the changes he will make to make this country more safer. We have not seen this with this president.
Paul Soglin, who's the former Democratic mayor of Madison, Wisconsin, told Politico that undecided voters, quote, are very distraught, both with the horrendous carnage created by police officers in murdering African Americans and for the safety of their communities. What does a Biden-Harris administration do to address the violence that we are seeing in American cities?
The first is to make very clear that we condemn violence, we condemn looting, and that has happened repeatedly. I have said that repeatedly. But the second is solution. The solutions are not to divide people, they're to bring them together. In Minnesota, yes, we had a horrific murder. George Floyd. That case is being prosecuted. We are mending our communities. We are doing all we can to rebuild. But the third piece of this is police reform. And you can be against looting and for police reform. You can be in favor of things like banning chokeholds and having body cams, which we didn't have in Kenosha. You can be in favor of making sure that disciplinary records go with police officers so you know what happened. And you can do all that and still be for good law enforcement. And there are so many good police officers out there putting their lives on the line every single day. I just don't see this as the wedge Donald Trump sees it as. I see it as something we can do together, but not with him as president, not with the kind of rhetoric we hear from him.
Now, I want to specify the three great things that she did in that particular narrative. Number one, she points out that under Donald Trump, America has become less safe. America has also become a country who attacks minorities, etc. Number two, she points out that the police has a problem, that she didn't run away from the police issue with the way it treats black men, people of color. And third, she did not allow the coronavirus to go unheard and to put the blame where it belonged, on Donald Trump. As she said, this is Donald Trump's America. We cannot allow Donald Trump's America to look like the future of what a Democratic win would be. So therefore, it is important for us not to allow the media to change the narrative. This is not Biden's America. This is Donald Trump's America. And all these bad things have occurred because we have a president that is derelict in his duty, because we have an incompetent president, because we have somebody who does not know how to govern. This is what the Biden administration need to be doing now. Is if you want more of the same, you keep Donald Trump. Exactly right. Now, now we know what the other side is. Donald Trump is trying to get people riled up. Donald Trump is promoting evil. There's a woman I want to play. Her son was almost murdered as they pumped 7 bullets in him. And what did she want to bring to the community? Did she want to bring strife and hate? I've always said this. You know, I mean, those thugs in chief, those thugs that run this country, always try to create racial strifes. That's what they do. But people get along just fine. But because people get along just fine, so that they will have their way, they try to create frictions between people. So Donald Trump would love to see all kind of warring between races and cultures and all of that. When these people, generally on the grassroots stuff, they love each other. You take a look at what we're doing all over the country as together, all people together. But that is a clear and present danger for their hoarding. That is clear and present danger for a plutocracy. That is a clear and present danger for a capitalist society that drains the blood out of everybody progressively. We grade people. I mean, if you get my book, I explain all of that in my book. The book is called It's Worth It. I'm going to put the link right now on the in my feed. But here's what I want to play for you. Here's what I want to play for you. This is important. And yes, I constantly push my book. I really want you guys to get the book. I'm number 1 in Kindle and number 2 in a hard copy in new releases at Amazon in conflict resolution. Anyhow, folks, let me tell you something, guys. Listen to this woman. This is what she's. People always say this. People of colors, and specifically black folks, they don't want retribution. They want equal access to success. Equal access to success and all that's theirs. Nothing more. Nobody's looking for retribution. I mean, if we were, but that's not the case. Anyhow, listen to how we are always magnanimous. Check this out.
Has been fighting for his life.
Talk a little loud.
And we really just need prayers. As I was riding through the city, I noticed a lot of damage. It doesn't reflect my son or my family. If Jacob knew what was going on as far as that goes, the violence and the destruction, he would be very unpleased. So I'm really asking and encouraging everyone in Wisconsin and abroad to take a moment and examine your hearts. Citizens, police officers, firemen, clergy, politicians, do Jacob justice on this level and examine your hearts. We need healing. As I pray for my son's healing, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, I also have been praying even before this for the healing of our country. God has placed each and every one of us in this country because He wanted us to be here. Clearly you can see by now that I have beautiful brown skin, but take a look at your hand, and whatever shade it is beautiful as well.
Amen. Yes.
How dare we hate what we are? We are humans. God did not make one type of tree or flower or fish or horse or grass or rock. How dare you ask Him to make one type of human that looks just like you? I'm not talking to just Caucasian people. I am talking to everyone. White, black, Japanese, Chinese, red, brown. No one is superior to the other. The only supreme being is God Himself. Please, let's begin to pray for healing for our nation. We are the United States. Have we been united? Do you understand what's going to happen when we fall? Because a house that is against each other cannot stand. To all of the police officers, I'm praying for you and your families. To all of the citizens, my black and brown sisters and brothers, I'm praying for you. I believe that you are an intelligent being just like the rest of us. Everybody. Let's use our hearts, our love, and our intelligence to work together to show the rest of the world how humans are supposed to treat each other. America is great when we behave greatly.
America is great when we behave greatly. You hear that, Ledo? America is great when we behave greatly. And it's funny, yes, you should love your whiteness, Mr. Ledo, but, you know, I have a shocker for you because, remember, I know you. You're not classically a white person. I mean, yeah, in America, you'll still be classified like that, but do a DNA test. You'll be surprised because I already know what it's going to tell you. Anyhow, folks, let's, you know, I tell you what's interesting. Yeah, by the way, you know, this stuff about race is kind of silly, right? Because the shocker that a lot of people are going to realize, for all those people that are now walking around as white, and a lot of my white friends always tell me that, like, hey, Berta, you know, I would like to say that I'm X and Y and Z, but people going to say I'm trying to be passing and all that kind of stuff. But I know I'm not really like white, or, you know, a lot of people, you know, I mean, a lot of my daughter's friends found that out when they found it out. One of them came and said, oh, guess what? I am black. According to the one drop rule, I am black. I just thought I'd mess with you a little bit, Ledo. But trust me, you're not. There's a hell of a lot of mixture in that pot. So don't be too proud of just saying you're white. Just say you love who you are. We should all love who we are. We're all beautiful. When I look at people, I look at the beauty in people. I look at everybody and I just see humans. And it's like just seeing different kinds of humans of every type. It's what makes America a place where all of us can live together great. I wish more of you people other that don't think that way would actually get that right. You know, it's amazing. Anyhow, so folks, it's important that we see you see that woman her kid got shot 7 times. Now here we have Ledo, and I'm hitting on Ledo because he's writing a lot. He goes ahead and he calls the guy a POS, right? The guy who got shot 7 times. You know, do you call the president a POS as well, Daniel? A guy who has knowingly raped women, a guy who would hold a woman by her you know what as just and just called it that way. Have you ever called the president a POS as well, Mr. Ledo, for the way he treats women and he treats other people? Have you ever done that, sir? You know, it's amazing. You have to be frank in these things. Now, here's the problem, guys. I think I'm going to just talk and answer you guys because I was going to play this young man, the state rep. Anybody who's listening to Politics Done Right is on KPFT 90.1 FM as well right now. At the same time that we're doing the internet shows, it's also at KPFT 90.1. But the version that they're playing at 90.1 started out with the interview with Travis Bolt. I am not going to play the Travis Bolt interview here after all, again, since it's currently being played right now on KPFT 90.1 FM over the air. Or it was the first segment that played at KPFT 90.1 FM. What I'm going to do here, though, is continue with our programming. But I want to do a little bragging stuff here, man, because I'm really thrilled. I'm excited. I just went ahead and pulled this up. That is the book. If you notice, the Kindle version is #1 at new releases in conflict management, and #2 in the last time we pulled, and #2 in the same segment. So I am excited as hell. And what I want to ask you guys to do is please help us keep it there. Get either you can get either the Kindle version or the hard copy version. But I can tell you that I am very happy a lot of folks see some value in really talking to the other side. Why talking to the other side? Because remember, we're going to talk about the next subject that we had to talk about is why do I believe we are going to win in a landslide? I'm going to tell you why. Let me get this thing off the screen and then talk to you. And this is for my right wingers that are listening here today as well. This is going to be a win for you too. All right? When we win big, it's also going to be a win for you. Whether you can, when you go into in fact, what I'm asking all my right wingers here is when you go into that voting booth, remember your vote is between you, yourself, and God. And why am I telling you this? Because if you win with the Democrats this time, especially during a pandemic, there are policies that Republicans are unable to pass because they are ideologically fixed in their beliefs, but that you will need. We are going to need, for all those people that have gotten coronavirus, I'm talking about the ones who got infected right now, they are going to have permanent issues to deal with. I've currently interviewed a whole lot of people so far that have gotten coronavirus, and yes, they're now completely what's the word? They're completely free of the virus, but it has left permanent problems with them right now. So they are going to need health care, a lot of health care going forward. And the only thing that's going to do that is a good healthcare system that's not going to depend on you having to give every year a $6,000 to $12,000 deductible every single year because of these illnesses that you're going to have that's developed from coronavirus. So that's number one. Number two, our employment situation has been permanently changed. All those small businesses or small restaurants and all of those guys, they're going to be out of business. A lot of those restaurant owners or whatever also themselves were Republican voters because, I mean, they just happen to tend to be that way when you do the demographic check. But a Republican ideology right now is anathema to what they want right now. And what I'm giving you right now are things that I have in the book, but also things that I'm telling you that you have to use as your argument, not to ask your people to become Republican, but to ask them to vote in their immediate self-interest. So those businesses are not going to be opened again, which means all the people that were employed by those businesses will now either be without jobs, which means we're going to have to start talking about long-lasting stipends modified in such a manner that we don't discourage people from going to work, of course. And that's, most people will not ever be discouraged from going to work, but you still want to have some mechanisms in there. And this is what I've learned from my conservative brothers and sisters about certain things. I mean, they've convinced me about certain issues on these things. You do need some mechanisms, some backstop mechanisms in there. But we are humans. We can design that. Economic systems are designed by us all. So what we are going to have to promote to these people is not only for themselves, not only the engineer who may continue to have his job, but about his kid who won't ever have a job in the short term until we restructure an economy that has the ability to absorb everybody, which may mean reducing the amount of work that the work week altogether so more people can be employed. There are a lot of things that are going to have to change because what has happened over time is we have never been able to take advantage of the productivity gains we have all given to this economy. Productivity gain, which means making a lot more product with less people, that the difference in price, the profits that has come from that didn't come to those who created that productivity gain. It went straight to the top, to the shareholders who have accomplished absolutely nothing, and to the executives who have accomplished absolutely nothing. We discussed that as well in the book. So I would love for you to go to politicsdoneright.com store. You can get the book there. Check it out. Hey, now. Or you can go to Amazon, whichever one. You can go ahead and do it. But so my thing here is this. When you're talking to your people, and you don't have to, this is not about asking them to convert. You're not asking them to convert their ideology. You're asking them to vote in their immediate self-interest, their immediate economic self-interest. Their immediate economic self-interest cannot be solved by conservative ideology. It cannot. And that is what we have to bring to these folks and talk to them respectfully and have them understand. And when we do that, when I talk about landslide, this is what I'm talking about. It's not going to come. A landslide doesn't come because we want a landslide. A landslide doesn't come because we will a landslide. A landslide comes because all of us, every single one of us, do the work. In other words, when I go to the grocery store and I have a pleasant conversation with somebody and I turn that conversation into a mild political conversation. Let me give an example. We have a mild conversation and somebody happens to say, oh, my daughter got the coronavirus or whatever. And, right then and there you can turn it into, oh, yeah, I hope she recovers quickly. When she recovers, the only thing about the coronavirus is right now, for all those people that have recovered, they've tended to have long-lasting effects. It's a pre-existing condition at that point. So you want to make sure that she gets good insurance. But, private insurance is, they're talking about one part of our politics talking about getting rid of that, which would present a big problem for your daughter. I mean, we want, what we want is you have to bring the argument and the discussion in a manner that touches that person's immediate life. And if you take a look at books like I forgot the name, What Has Happened to Kansas, Republicans have always done that. They've lied to people, but they've always made them believe that their interest is what they're looking for, right? They've even told them, being poor is a good thing. It gives you character. But they're never poor, right? They tell you all these things and fool you with all these things that are not always true. So what we have to do is to go ahead and move on. Dimitri, Dems are suggesting Cobra. Come on, man. Let me tell you something. You can forget everything Dems are suggesting right now, Dimitri. Dems are going to suggest, after they get into office, they're going to suggest what we tell them to suggest. Okay? Let's be clear here. Don't think that Biden is going to go in there with some middle mandate that's going to prevent this, because I want to remind you of something. Yes, he has a lot of Republican support, but not a whole lot of Republican people that are entwined with him. I had a dream last night, and it was about giving this big speech. And the big speech was going to say the following. Remember that the Republicans that are supporting Joe Biden just want Joe Biden to win. They just want Donald Trump out, because Donald Trump is a clear and present danger for the neoliberal system that they want. Biden isn't. But Biden comes with a left flank as well. But he comes with a left flank that is not crazy. In other words, he comes with a left flank that actually has ideas that will even sell to Republicans during a pandemic, Republicans during a depression. And that is the difference. That is the difference. So what and you are absolutely right, Paul. I mean, I'm assuming you're saying what goes away in 2 years is the support from the Republicans, and that's absolutely true. But what we need to do going forward, Tank 28, welcome aboard, Tank 28. I remember you from a few sessions ago. So that's what we have to realize. It's not over. Okay, let me run through the line here and start looking to see if there's anything that I need to question. It's about that time. 10 minutes still. Okay, Tank 2020. Golf is hard. No, according to Trump, that's not what he says. Jacoby G, welcome aboard. If the Dems get the stimulus passed now, do you think after they win the election, they'll still be willing to do a stimulus, Berto? Let me tell you. And this is, brother Jacoby G, here's what I try to tell people. We made a mistake with Obama. When Obama won, we just let Obama be. And you leave any one of these politicians be, the people who, that space get filled, that empty space get filled with something else. So if we get the stimulus passed, and then we come, have a great day too, Tank 28. If we get the stimulus passed, right? And it turns out that we then just back up after Biden wins. Then the neoliberal of Biden will win. The neoliberal faction of Biden, which comprises neoliberal Republicans and neoliberal Democrats, they will hold the day with a small bit of left flank and a small bit of right flank. And that's not what we want. What we want to do is, after he wins, to stay engaged as the most engaged people there are. And I think having AOC, Ilhan Omar, what's her name? Ayanna Pressley, and that great person from California, the smartest, I think she's likely the smartest economic woman in California. Tell me her name, AVQ. You know who that is. The woman who questions like nobody else on financial issues. Having those as our new leaders, all of these are women between, I guess, 29 and 45. These women are great leaders. They are our future leaders, future presidents, future speakers of the House, future, it's these women are Katie Porter. Thank you very much, Wallflower. These are the people that I'm expecting to be leading our country. Those are some strong women, and they come with all the wherewithal to lead. Those are the people I'm expecting to lead going forward. And I'm just ready to be right there backing them up. Okay, let's see what else I have. So bottom line, the answer is whether the stimulus passes or not is not the question, in my opinion. The question is what we are going to demand. And if we don't get what we demand, we continue the protest for the structural changes that does not only involve social justice, racial justice, but also economic justice. And by the way, economic justice doesn't just cover Democrats. Economic justice is for us all. All right, so Jacoby B, I don't think I welcomed you. Wallflower, I don't think I welcomed you, so welcome aboard. Tank 28, I didn't welcome you, so welcome aboard. Let's see, Norman Reynolds, I think I welcomed you. Let me see if there's anything else. Hey, we got a ton of messages. We actually got a medal for all these messages. Okay, Jacoby says, so do you believe there should be another one though? Yes. Yes. There will. You see, Jacoby, we are going to need stimulus packages over and over again until we find equilibrium in the economy. Equilibrium in the economy is when the amount of dollars floating in the economy can have enough people work, can have all the people who want work working at the same time to create the products that these people need. And that's why we don't have inflation. That's why we're spending deficit spending out of the gazoo. The reason we don't have inflation is that we don't have money chasing products. We have products chasing money. So when we reach equilibrium, that is when we have to stop printing money. That is what modern monetary theory is about. Modern monetary theory isn't about just printing money and you can print forever. No, it's not saying that. It is saying equilibrium. You know, Keynesian tries to bring equilibrium by having an authority figure like the bank, not the treasury, but the private banks that run our economy. We want to get rid of the private banks that run the economy and run off of a formula. This stuff says we know equilibrium. You just have to monitor inflation. Inflation tells you, and people say, well, suppose inflation runs away from you. Inflation can't really run away from you if you're not in the private sector, where these guys want to control that's another economic topic I can't discuss right now. We only have 4 minutes. But anyhow, so that is the answer to that particular question, brothers. Stimulus packages until a vaccine comes around and people can get back to work safely. Michael Rudnan, if ultimately that is what it's going to turn out to be. But there's one other caveat though, Michael, and it goes as follows. We have structurally changed the economy with the pandemic. People have learned how to work at home. All right. And a lot of companies are finding it a lot more efficient to work at home. What that means is a lot of buildings that used to be rented by companies for those people who work at home are no longer needed, which means there's going to be a drop in real estate prices, or some of those real estate buildings are going to go bankrupt altogether. There's going to be a shift in the economy, right? And these people who used to go out to work outside of their homes used to go to restaurants, and they used to support those microeconomies around those buildings, and all those things. Those buildings used to use electricity and all these things that are now relegated to the home. Because a lot of companies are going to see, wow, I have a friend who said working at home, they've noticed that they are more efficient. And why? Technically speaking, because they're getting more work out of their employees, right? All that time that employee would have taken driving or driving back home, now they say, I can go ahead and do a little bit more. I mean, that's what they've noticed. A lot of companies have noticed they've gotten a lot more work out of their people. So don't consider that this is going to change anytime soon. So you are going to have a restructuring in the economy that is going to be even more efficient. Efficiency means this. If you're a person that can work at home, you probably gain 2 hours a day because you don't have to shower, clothe, drive, buy gas. So you reduce the amount of gas. There's a whole lot of difference there's a material change in the economy that's coming. So it's going to it's never going to be the same again. So it's not about just people going back to work. A lot of people are not going back to work because there will be no work to go back to. All those small restaurants are no longer going to be there. Also, the small grocer is going to be taken over by the Walmart and the Amazon or whatever, which means we have to find a way to redistribute the gains that they've gotten from the crash in the economy. It's there's a whole lot that's going to have to be restructured, and that's going to take some time to get it right. That's going to take some time to get it right. Anyhow, we are at the end of the program. I want to thank you so kindly for spending this time with us. I want to remind you that this is a program that needs your support. Please support us by going to politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. That's politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. That is how you can subscribe to our program. You can also provide support by going to politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. We can only exist because of you. When you buy our books, when you subscribe to our program, when you provide contributions, when you go ahead and provide support via Facebook, which we just started. There it is, politicsdoneright.com/Facebook. Or when you go to our store, we have T-shirts, we have books. Our books you can get at our store. You can get our cups. You can get our bumper stickers. Don't forget our books. Here we go. All these things are at our store when you buy. So please support the program. This is how we're going to continue to enlighten us all. I learn from you. I hope you learn from me. That is what we are going to do to change the paradigm. We can no longer depend solely on the mainstream media. As I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this show, we are not being informed well. The media seems to not tell us about the president as they should. And that is one of the reasons why we are where we are. Landslide, folks. Landslide. It's not going to happen automatically. Let's all work towards making it happen. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! I'm Egberto Willies, host of Politics Done Right, an independent news program. I post several news videos of interest every day. I ask you so kindly to subscribe to my channel. And please leave me some comments. Thank you very much.